Okay, we're getting back on this headlight. We got kicked my butt on the other night. Finish that up and then get onto the front brake. Get this old stupid tripod going here. I'm going to use a stock brake cable on this one, so we'll just see how it goes. It ought to be interesting to see what else screws me today. I'm sure something will. Alright, first thing I'll do is get the wire in the plug in here, just to finish it up. I'm not doing the wire on the bike, I don't have time to, so Dustin will finish it up. He wants to work on the bike anyway, so it's something to do. Used to get the headlight where you put it on the bike and get it together. Stock style steel beam on this thing. What voltage it is? Let's see here. 12 volt. Must be a 12 volt application. Fits. Got to tap out the screws that hold this on. We'll find a couple better ones because they're real scripted out. Instead of keep fighting it like everybody else was doing, you fix it. It should go together easily. Just like the headlight should have went on a bike easily without taking 3 hours plus. Oh well. This here was a really bad hole before. It appears to be still in the house. Bucket was bent a little bit, so you got to find the right angle to put it in. I think it was all cross-threaded before. This doesn't help matter. So if it doesn't go in the first time, go back and forth 3 times till you find the right spot. Don't just force it in. That doesn't make it any easier. Nothing broke yet. Amazing. A first. Alright. So I'm going to put the rim on there. So there's a little screw here on the bottom. Holds it all together. Last chance for something to screw with me. Has a little ridge that catches up on the top. Actually catches all around the whole thing. There it goes. Pop it on, squeeze it together with the fingers, and then tighten the screw up a little bit. Sometimes there's a nut on the back side, sometimes it's a built-in bracket. Whatever this one is, it doesn't appear to be doing much. Yeah. It's doing a whole hell of a lot of nothing when I'm tightening it. Which doesn't make sense because the screw's going in now. It's weird. It appears to all be working correctly, but it wasn't working. Center it up a little bit. Keep it looking nice. all it appears to be me. 3 hours of sleep couldn't have anything to do with it, I bet. Okay, after we get starts to twerk in, kind of center it up a little bit. If it will. Dark hole again. Alright. Headlight appears to be on the bike. Amazing. Hard to believe. So, there you go. Appears to be straight. Got this centered up pretty good down there. There's a Phillips screw way up under there. So you gotta make sure you're in the rib all the way around in here. That ridge rolled into it. So make sure it's all straight all the way in there. If you have a big gap in there, that means it's not inside the headlight bucket. It'll fall off. So you wanna make sure everything's nice and snug. The old hammer test. No rattles, it's good. Okay, we can move on to the brake down here. It appears to be a little light on the stopping power. So I had to take the hub apart and fix this because it's put together wrong. The previous video shows all that. So I lubed this side of the hub. I did not do the other side. So now you can take this apart, lubricate this side of the hub, and then put the brake all on here. I'm going to use a stock cable on this one. This one came off the 65 bike, I think. So I'll go ahead and put this all on there. And then we get all the brake stuff lined up over there to play with. This ought to be fun for somebody. And we'll see what kind of problems we run across, as usual. Never can go without problems. Should be a 3/4 trench, which I obviously didn't use. There's one laying around here somewhere. Put the parts where you won't lose them. Use the appropriate hammer. Like plastic. Isn't doing much damage. It's not easy when you got no brake on. Okay. To work on that too. Alright, we're going to work on the brake down here first. First thing I do is get the airline out of the way. There, the wheel fits better. Okay, we got a view down there, look at that. Okay, so we got to take the hub apart. That's held together with snap rings down there. Yeah, let's get a close up. Right down there, appears to be snap rings. That camera stand appears to be a little floating around. There, a little better. Alright, so there's the hub. So you gotta take the snap ring out. You seal underneath that. You gotta pull that out too. You pull the grease on it. Dirty rag. There's some grease. Yeah, grease. There it is. So you either need small snap rings or big ones. Pliers, looks like we use smaller ones. Obviously the video is way too stinking close, can't see nothing. Alright. First thing you do is pull a snap ring out. Attempt to pull a snap ring out, I should say. It's out. Okay, a little retaining washer holds a seal in it. And then you just have a sleeve in there. So this point, the sleeve should come out. Of course, it doesn't want to. Trying to force it out from the other side, which is not working. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Could be. Okay, wipe off the excess goo. Wipe your fingers off too, helps so your fingers don't get so dirty. Keep your tools from getting dirty. Clean tools, clean hands, clean parts. This is just a little retainer piece here that holds the seal in there. It's a cork seal in there. It doesn't want to come out, so flip it over and drop it on something soft, oh, like a foot. Oh yeah, the piece came out. Imagine that. Okay, now you got a little bit more access to your sleeve here, because it partially came out. You just got to work out with your fingers, see? Ooh, it's already got grease on it and everything, look at that. And of course, today's starting with interruptions already. We'll be back. Okay, back on our hub here. So you can see how the bearings are in there. This old hub's a roller bearing. This here's a cork seal that's in here right now, which doesn't do a lot, but does a little bit. So this thing's packed completely full of grease right here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that grease and re-lube the bearings, which look like they've still got lube on them, and shove it back together. And that'll take care of the re-greasing the wheel. Or we already re-shimmed it last time, so should be good. And figures, as soon as I start doing anything, phone rings. Alright, so we're going to work a little bit. Hello. Go for it. Yeah, I haven't got to it. Haven't got to it yet. Haven't got to it yet. Mm-hmm. What size are you looking for? Very limited on those. Probably only going to be like a short sleeve. Yeah, I'm not sure on the black what I got left now. I got a few grays left, but we'll have to see. Those are going pretty quickly, and I already got the black ones are pretty well gone. Yeah, they pretty much sold in about a day and a half. They pretty much sold out on shirts, so not many to choose from, but I got a few up front here, so I haven't taken out here yet. But the double X are just this time around is the most popular size. Before it was at least popular, but I guess you got more bigger guys this year. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take a look, see what I got up front there, and then we'll do something back, but I'll take a look and I'll throw them off the corner for you. Okay, bye. There you go. Shirt sales. That's why I get nothing done around here. Okay, once you get in there, make sure it rotates. Of course, I can't make it turn my hand in here, but all right. You got dirty again. There you go. Okay, so we know the hub's good. We can actually move on to the brake now. Do something important. All right, pick up our tools. Let's get over here to frame over here. Okay, first thing we gotta do is get the cable in here. So here's the old cable. So this has a little spacer, I guess the best thing you can call this thing, but this is what pinches the housing, the tube housing here, into the aluminum backing plate. If you don't have this little space in here, this is just loose and floating around. You have to have this here to push for the nut to push against to tighten it. So most times these are missing. So that's why the tubes are just floating around the backing plate. So let me show you that a little bit. A lot of back and forth here. Of course, we leave the wheel right away on the floor so we can trip on it. Alright, so this here is where the hole for that to go in there. So you can see there's a little bit of chamfer in the bottom of the hole down there. That's what that little spacer piece hits against here. You can see how it's got two big chamfers on both sides here. Alright, so that goes down in the hole. We tighten it up, put the tube in there, that'll be tight. So this is our pivot piece right here. There's a washer right here. It's got serrations on it where it bites into the backing plate right there, you can see. So that's your pivot. So this is loose in the hole because the pivot can move front to back a little bit to center the brake shoes in the drum. So you have to have that. The backing plate should be sitting flat against the frame, the fork. If it's not, there's something wrong. So you need to fix that. There's just a nut on there like that. Okay, and we got our sleeve down in here, which has a nut on the back side over here that holds it. So that's no biggie. Okay, down here we got the cable lever assembly. So the cable wraps around this piece right here, and then you got to hold it on the nut. That's what locks the cable in. You can shorten the cable whatever you need it to be, but so anyway, it wraps around that. The cable holds it. See how the cable's already been bent here. It's used. That goes around there like that. It ties all together. Close up there on that. All right, go to the floor. We can see it better. There, it's on the floor. And make sure you don't lose your piece right there. Important. See, but that goes around that, and that's what locks it in there. So anyway, hard to do that with one hand. Get all your parts where you can find them so you don't lose them. You always put your stuff basically in one place so you don't lose the stuff. Okay, so that's about all for that. Now the shoes, I'm going to have to do a little arcing on these things and see if they'll fit. You can see how they're all glazed up. They never did grind the backside here to keep them from being grabby. So they didn't. Pull back a little bit. There we go. So they never did that. I don't know how flat these are. The last set weren't even flat, so let's check that. And then for springs, we have these ones right here. So I'm not sure how good these springs are. If I don't like those, I got a couple of to choose from. So they go in the backing plate over there. So all that has to be worked out. This is the brake drum that we painted already. He was going to clean the chrome, he never did. Oh well. Okay, so you can see how much these fit in here. So if they go back and forth a little bit, see how this got a little rock in it. So this needs to be ground a little bit more on this side here than on the ends. So it fits in there a little bit tighter. So we're going to go work on that. Need to get some good fumes going over here. Use our surface grinder over here, 12-inch disc sander, whatever you want to call it. And I need a tripod, my favorite piece of crap tool. Yeah, sure. All right, let's get this over here. You can kind of see a little bit, maybe. All right, let's see what we're going to get here. Should make some nice fumes to breathe for the rest of the night. Okay, now I keep this thing relatively flat so it's at 90 degrees. So let's see how much air we got in this. So this side goes like, this one goes this direction here. So if you grind right here, this will fly on your face and hit you. So if you grind it like this, it won't hit you in the face. If you keep this side off the grinder a little bit, it won't be too bad. A lot of times these don't grind flat, and this one does not grind flat. So flat means this angle's not square to this angle, or parallel to, whatever you want to call it. So that means you got to grind them one at a time. So you let this overhang over here. So you find the flat spot, pull it out, turn it on. See what it does. So you got about an angle about like that. Now we want to see if my table's out of whack. We come over to the other side. Make sure you hold it down good. It wants to grab out of there. And you see how it grinds in the same spot. So that means the table's not the problem. The problem is the shoe's not flat. So now I'm going to grind this more flatter. Here's my water is a little dry. Fix that real quick. I think Scooby got thirsty. That's probably what it was. Alright, that warmed that up a little bit. So you can see how it's still not all the way across flat, so you can grind a little bit more. Steaming a little bit. I quenched it quick, so if there's any carbon there, I should make that surface harder. Let's see. Alright, so I cooled off a little bit. So I get to do the other one, see how bad it is. What I didn't do is grind it from the side to make sure it was flat. That way. Probably should have done that first, but oh well. Pretty good. This side here, the lining is overhanging the shoe a little bit. There we go. Run it down until it hits. And the other one. That side came in pretty good. I'm going to have to check to see how bad this is. Appears to be off like the other one was. So I'm going to grind a little bit more now. Nice and hot. Quench it. Put it in the water. A little warm yet, but alright. So now that's flattened out pretty good. A little bit more. Okay, so that's got that part done. Okay, now we're going to move on to the re-arcing it here a little bit. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a couple flat spots here on this side and this side. I'll give it a quick grind all the way across to see how far out it is, because a lot of times these aren't very flat either. So pick the side of the shoe that looks the flattest to you. Looks like I got a spot here where it's hitting, here and here that's metal, so that's the flattest side. So we're going to work from this side here. This side here, it's only hitting right here and here in the lining, so this is not the flat side. Dusty in here. Alright, so I've gone flat on that. Both sides. A little bit worn out probably. I made a quick grind across here, so you can see how it's not hitting here at all on the bottom, but it's sitting here a little bit on the top. So that means that this is not square to the shoe. I'm going to fix that. Put my window up a little bit. A little bit of air in here. This isn't asbestos, so it does not hurt you too bad, but it still stinks. And remember, we got to grind a little bit more right in here to make it fit the drum better. Both ends. I've done a little more right here in the middle than on the sides, but I went across the whole surface a little bit. You can still see we're not even close to touching all the way around. Now we can see how it fits in the drum. It's a lot better, but still a little more. I still need to take a little more here in the middle. I'm going to grind a little bit more. Starting to hit almost all the way across now the shoe. Just a little bit, we're not hitting right here. This is low right through here. Not too bad. It's not rocking in the drum no more. So now it fits down here in the drum like it's supposed to. It's not rocking side to side like it was. Alright, so I can grind a little bit more if I want. Try to pick up that little area there. Or we'll just let it wear in. I think we'll just let it wear in at this point. I'm going to grind all the darn material off. Okay, so we're hitting pretty good heavy here. Only a little bit here. So this side here is a little bit flatter, so I'm going to work off this side. Blow the shit out the window right here. Get the fumes going. Okay, let's see what this side looks like. Yeah, this side came in a little bit better. It's low right through here, but pretty even all the way across. Not too bad. For a first go around, that was pretty good. Puts the drum pretty good now. So I'll just give this a little quick couple shots back and forth all the way across. Finish it up. See the drum on this side. There we go. A little low right here, but other than that it looks pretty even. We're pretty close. Okay, so there's just shoes in there now. Getting nice and tight, they're not rattling. Looks good. Alright, let's go take us back to bench, try put a brake together. Alright, we're back on to the 65 here. Not 65, 58, excuse me, wrong bike. So, lots of interruptions yesterday, didn't get hardly anything done. So we're back on the brake right now. So we're going to try to get this buttoned up. So we finished up yesterday on the getting the brake shoes fitted into the drum here. So these should be ready to go on now. And I got to put the front cable up on here also, so we'll do that first. Just down here. Alright, so this just basically just screws into our backing plate. And it's already got the cable on here. So Cable needs to be lubed a little bit. Doesn't look like there's ever any lubricant in this thing at all, ever. So we'll do a little bit of that. So we're going to take a little bit of cable lube here. Squirt it in here. Should gravity feed down to the bottom down there. Yeah, way down there. Just kind of work it back in there a little bit. Eventually it'll run out the bottom down there. We're going to go ahead and reuse this cable because there's nothing really wrong with it. And trying to save money where we can on the bike. So no reason to put a new one on there. It is important to get lubricant all the way down the bottom here though. Came out the top finally. Keep doing this until it gets all the way down there. Of course, once it starts coming out the bottom, it'll keep coming out. There it goes. It just dripped out there. So now it's pouring out of there. So now it's well lubricated. Okay. A little bit of oil on the thread right here. Screw this into our vacuum plate. Remember to put a little spacer in here that tightens it up. If you don't put that on there, it does not tighten up. When you put these on, just twist them in the opposite direction how the cable is wound, or the same direction, how you want to call it. That keeps it from fraying the cable. Dribble, dribble. Now the oil's leaking out of the cable pretty good. Can't say it's not lubricated now. Let that drip over there. Clean my hands off a little bit. I like having oil on my hands. It's hard to keep your tools clean when they're full of oil. Yep, ½ inch. And 2. Yeah, it's finally getting tight. I'm going to leave that loose right now because it's not installed where it's supposed to go yet. Right now I just got the cable laying across the headlight up here. Keeps it out of my way. Okay. Now I'm going to put our little piece on over here. That all laying over here. So let's see, that way you can kind of see over here a little better. Okay, so that has to wrap around this piece right here, and you got to put this clip on here. And you put your lock nut on top of that to hold it. Using a little 1/4-inch ratchet here to hold that. Pull back a little bit. Okay, now you can either have it going this direction or you can have it going this direction. I usually like it going this direction, but whichever way works for you works. The thing is, you got to have it small enough it goes inside of here. Tighten it down real good. Alright, so that's all in there where it belongs. Now it's really important that you have that where the cable's coming up through here and not sticking way up too far, because it can bottom out in here or it can get jammed up in the shoes. So you want to keep it relatively short. It doesn't have to be that short, but it could be relatively short. And when you put this on the bike, it's going to wind up being, pull back a little bit. This is going to wind up probably being about up to here to get the shoes out where they belong, but it's just a matter of how much clearance you got and everything. So initially we start out down low. And we'll put a little bit of lubricant on the pivot point right there, because it's probably the only time it's ever going to get any lube on it. It's now. And of course the phone's ringing already. A little bit of lube on that. Lube. Hello. Me. Uh-oh. Okay, back at it again. Alright, now I'm going to try to get the shoes on here. So I'll have to see how that goes. You want to put a little bit of lubricant on the pivot points. I put a little bit of oil up on here, but we'll put a little bit of grease on there too. You can use anti-seize on this stuff if you want. It doesn't really matter. It's going to wear away whatever you put on it. But a little bit of something is better than nothing. It works for a short time. It's not too much that holds up with brakes very often. Pretty much all burns off or wears off. Too much heat, too much pressure contact area. Alright, what do I do with my shoes? There they are. Okay, so in the brake shoes, they got 2 notches for springs where they go in. Right here. So they go either on the left side or the right side here. Let me get this, kind of get where you can kind of see it. Just like that. Excuse me. Now the other thing you gotta watch out is how the spring goes on it. So if you put the spring on easy where it comes in like this, the spring actually sits out higher because the way the spring is cut, and this pivot point's in the center of the spring, so if it's above the pin, the spring moves up the distance of the spring, whatever the diameter of the spring is. If you flip it over and put it in backwards, which is a little bit harder on the bottom like this, the spring sits lower, closer to the pivot point here, and it doesn't drag on the brake shoes, the brake drum as much. The brake drums have this raised spot in here, and they rub on here if you get them up too high. So whenever you put the springs on there, try to put them to the bottom as low as they can get, and also put them toward the inside, the backing plate side, and not the drum side, and that'll get you away from that high spot. Otherwise the springs will eat through. So on the 65 up front, they were eating through halfway through the shoe, through the spring, because they were dragging. And the next problem is we don't know how much tension we got on this. This spring here has slightly been oversprung, because you can see it's got a gap in here. But the eyelets still look fairly good. Now you can rebend these a little bit, but they're pretty stout bending. So we're going to go ahead and put this together here and just kind of get an idea of what we got. So I put this on the bottom. Kind of go in there like that. And you can see how much tension we got on this. It's called none. So shoes are together, there's no tension on that spring at all. So when I go to spread these out, see, I can spread them out just my hand. 1/2 inch right there. That's not that much tension on a set of shoes. So that means the cable's not going to return very much, and it's going to have a problem. So this spring here is not strong enough, and there's no tension on it. So we need to do something about that. Now the top part's going to be the same because the pivots are in the same spot, these pins. So it doesn't change it. So they do the other spring. Oh, it's in my hand, dumbass. Okay, now you check the other spring to see if it's the same height. And you can see how the spring is a little bit lower on this, a little bit higher up on this one than this one. So this one here is sprung up a little bit. So this is a problem with this one. Now this one here, you can see how tight it is right here on the, it hasn't been spread. See, this has a little bit of a gap between each spring. This one here is tight against each spring. So this one hasn't been sprung. So it's only about 1/8 of an inch difference between the two. So it's still not a lot of tension variation, but it is a little bit, and it does matter. So this one here is pretty much not working. Now for springs, they don't have too much to choose from. You got Gorilla springs, big heavy ones, which are probably too big for anything. And you got more crappy springs like you already got that are quality China crap. Taiwan, almost as bad. Now the problem is when you chrome plate a spring, unless you cook the nitrogen out of it within an hour or so after done, it weakens the spring and it cracks and breaks. And I know for a fact they didn't spend any extra time doing that on these pieces of crap. So these springs are already inferior to begin with. They'll like to crack and break on you. The next problem is they're probably not very good on the length either. And we don't know what the tension is on them. That's another problem. So finding springs that work is always a fun. Alright, there's a brand new spring. Here's the one we're comparing it to. And looks like it's almost just as bad. So let's go ahead and install it here. Let's see if it's any better than we had before. Okay, so right off the bat we are an improvement. See, I got a little, actually have to put a little tension on it. So we're already upgraded. Yeah, I'm about 1/4 inch less spread for the same tension. So that's an improvement right there. Alright, so that's not a real heavy spring, but it's definitely an improvement over the first one we used. Okay, I'm going to try the other one. This is the good one here, supposedly. Let's see how good is. Nope. These springs always like to fall out. Actually, put them in the correct way is harder than doing it the incorrect way too. Okay, so you see how this has even more overlap than the chrome spring did. So the correct spring is slightly more tension maybe. It's about the same tension as the chrome one. A little bit more, but not much. So I'm going to go ahead and use the black one on the bottom. I'll put the chrome one on the top. And that'll give us springs to use. And then we got to put this over here on this. And the way you do this is you put one on there like that, and then you take the other shoe and bend it across, bend it, flip it over. So I'm not sure how much of that you can really see from that view. Try to get it where we can kind of look in here. The picture looks a lot bigger when I'm seeing it on the camera, so you gotta get this thing in there like this, and then you gotta bend it over. You have to make sure you get it inside the tang over here. When you do that, if not, you gotta put it into that. So that'll be the fun part. And we gotta get the springs to hold in there where we want them to be without falling off more than about 15 times. See, there's one failure right there. one spring on. And we got the other one here. What I'm going to try to do on this before I put it on, I want to see how strong these are, see if I can bend them. So we take a pair of flat bill pliers, see how strong these are. Looks like I can bend them a little bit. Okay, I'm going to try to get a little more length out of it this time, or less length I should say. Okay, I was able to bend it down a little bit deeper. I'm going to pull this back straight a little bit. Okay. So I was able to rebend that slightly further closer. See the difference in the two gaps? See, this one's a lot shorter. So I'm going to take this one and bend it back out like it was. Come up around here further, like this. And try to bend it shorter. There. Alright, now that should be shorter than the one we just took off. Okay. The spring won't come off, but it'll fall off. Alright, so now, see the different height between the two springs now? So now this is going to be our heavier spring. I'm going to try the same trick with a Harley spring here. See how big the eyelet is on it. So I'm going to try to bend this one around. Now when you do this, make sure you don't put your thumb between there because it'll get you. You got to push on the flat part where it won't get you if it slips off. Because it probably will slip. Okay, we're right like that. See, the Harley spring doesn't want to bend. Can't get a hold of the Harley spring. You're not bending the Harley spring. It's tough. Try the other side. Yeah, you can't bend the Harley spring. They're pretty stout. Okay, so now we got to figure out what we want to do. Do you want to put the good spring on the cam where it's going to put more tension on it and it might break, or you put the lighter spring on it, which was the heavier one. So I'm going to go ahead and put the heavier one on the cam part, because down here on the cam, just a pivot here, just a cam. So over here, that's the cam, that's the pivot. So this will put more tension, which will help return the brake more. And it's a little bit hard to put in because it's got the bigger loop on it. So we'll put in first. Okay. Now you want how much shorter that spring is? That's the difference. Quite a bit difference in tension. Now when you go to pull on it, I can barely move it now, see? Now it's got some tension on it. Okay, Harley spring. Try to get that thing installed without losing the other one. That's always fun to do. Okay, there, it looks like I got it in there. See, you got them all up in there. Tension on that. Okay, now we're going to try to put on a backing plate. Didn't go very good. Spring filled it already. Okay. keep tension on the upper spring too, or it falls out. Okay, so now I got one shoe in. Now it's just a minute, I gotta go on it to get it in here. Okay, watch out for your thumb over here. And before you let go, make sure you shove both sides in. Make sure to keep tension on it so it doesn't pop out and hit you, because it'll hit you in the face if you're not careful. Okay, so now we got the springs on there. If you look at it, just sit down lower. So, right now this spring is half where it belongs. This one's half on it. This one here is way out on the outside where we don't want it. So now I gotta move them in with a screwdriver, get them in there where I want them to be. Two screwdrivers. Of course, there's no axle to keep the fork from turning. So I'm going to take the axle, use it as a holding tool. There, now the fork won't move on us. Now it only moves this way. So put the fork where it doesn't move on you when you're working on it. There, it popped on there that time. Okay, now we got to do the other side over here. So we hold the bottom where it belongs, flip the other side in. You hear it pop over there when we do it. Okay. Dark up in there. Okay. Now the springs are up in there where they belong, where you tucked in where they belong. Get this camera off, we can see up in here. So you can see I got it over here on that side, all the way around, top and bottom. You can see how it's right up against the pivot up here pretty close. So you got good clearances in here for your drum. Now this one here is sprung up a little bit like this because of tension. So it sits up a little high right there. Now if we flip that over, it might stick down lower, I'm not sure. That's just how this spring's working right now. That's the way these pivots are pulling. It's actually raising the spring up. So I don't know if that's actually higher or lower if you flipped it. You have to do it both ways to find out. But anyway, we're going to see if the brake drum drags on it. Right over here. So yeah, look down in there, make sure it doesn't drag anything. Make sure you got some clearances on those parts. So you can stick a piece of paper down in there and make sure if you can't see in there. Looks like it's going to clear all right to me, but we'll see. We won't know that for sure until we put it all on there. Okay, so now we got this assembled more or less how it goes. We go ahead and put it on the wheel. And get the wheel up in there. Put it over there where it belongs this time. Back a little bit. Go the other direction of the camera. We'll get back far enough you can see. Okay. Take our axle out. And make sure this is the correct axle for the bike. Make sure it hasn't been ground on or dicked with. So you got two different diameters here and here where the bearing sits, which is stock for a star hub. So if you put in a star hub down here, you make sure that it fits in here on this side here relatively close where it's supposed to be for diameter. And that's how you judge what it's supposed to be. And this one's got a lot of slop on it, which more than I like usually, but oh well. The reason it's got more than it's supposed to is it didn't go all the way in. There we go. It goes all the way in that way. So this bigger diameter here is what goes into the bearing sleeve right here. That's a lot tighter than those here, because this was pretty loose when it was out here. In the wrong spot. So the smaller part goes into the sleeve here. She centers it up on that other side. Okay, so we're going to put this in correctly. Rotate our brake around. Cable around the other side where it belongs. Okay, put your drum on. And the wheel's supposed to go up in there. But before we do that, we got to put the fender on. I forgot all about the fender. Probably should put the fender on it. It's hard to put the fender on when you got everything else on there. You can't get to the bolts very well. So now is the time to put the fender on it. Alright, so here's our fender. So this goes on the 4 bolts right in here. So we got to find some bolts for that. It wouldn't hurt to clean some of the dirt off the fender while we're at it. So when you wipe that off, don't push too hard with it, just kind of wipe. Protect the paint a little bit. Alright, I'm going to find me some bolts. We'll be back.